What's a small act of kindness you were once shown that you'll never forget? I missed my train to go home for Christmas from uni due to a crash near the station. I was completely broke and knew I wouldn't be able to afford another ticket. Life just got on top of me, knowing I'd have to spend Christmas alone in my shitty student house and not being about to see my granddad who was in rapidly declining health. I was bawling my eyes out on the platform when a janitor appeared out of a hidden stockroom under a stairwell and brought me some tissues. He found out why I was so upset and said, "Leave it to me," took me to the customer service desk and got them to reissue me a ticket for the next train home. I was so thankful I started bawling again, and he went on his way. Then, just before I was about to get my train, he found me on the platform and gave me some snacks and a can of Coke, and it's just the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. Your like and subscription will really help my channel. Neighbors asked to borrow my truck. Told them I could not trust my truck because the tires were bad. Next day, Mr. Neighbor called and said he was getting new tires for his Suburban and I could have his old ones. Told me to just show up at this certain tire shop and they would put them on. Get to tire shop and they put on brand new Goodyear tires. I asked what happened to the old tires I was supposed to receive. Shop owner said the old tires was just a story to get me in the shop. Mr. Neighbor bought me a full set of new tires instead of the old tires so that I would be safe on the road. My gym teacher purchased me lunch in 3rd grade after I dropped mine. I'm 34 years old and still remember this. I literally coasted into a gas station out of gas on my motorcycle, then realized I didn't have my wallet. Some lady saw me patting all my pockets and that I was upset and offered to fill up my tank. I only let her put $5 in, which on a bike is a lot, but it meant so much to me. I ran out of petrol on my motorcycle not long after I started riding. Didn't realize I'd go through my reserve as fast as I did. I managed to get a few more miles down the road by laying the bike on its left side, but eventually it wouldn't work anymore. I was about to start pushing when a guy pulled up next to me and said, "No fuel?" I said yes, and he told me to wait. About 10 minutes later, he came back with a jerry can of petrol and poured it in. But before I could offer him anything, he said, "Happens to the best of us," and drove off. I assume he was a biker too, and had the same happen to him once. He saved me the trouble of pushing the bike or getting recovered. I wish I knew who he was so I could repay him. I was 9 years old, waiting for the school bus in Wisconsin winter. I had a thin coat, no hat or gloves. A woman driving past saw me and stopped, giving me a blanket from the back of her car. It was a long, skinny one, so she wrapped it around my head and shoulders like a big scarf. I remember thanking her, but being confused. I told her I didn't know how I would give it back when I was done borrowing it. She hugged me and said not to worry. I still have that blanket. When I was little, I was waiting for my aunt in a supermarket. Whenever someone exited the supermarket, the doors were automatic, so every time someone left, I stood by the doors and pretended to magically open the doors. One person said thank you. I still remember it. So once in high school, I ate at a Mexican restaurant and unknowingly threw away my car keys on my tray when I was done eating. I went and asked a worker if he had cleared them off the table, and he said no, but that he had just taken the trash out to the dumpster. I remember going outside and calling my dad to ask if there was a spare, and he told me no. So I went back inside feeling humiliated and about to ask if I could look through the dumpster, only to see that this man had already dug through the dumpster on my behalf and ended up finding my keys for me. He just went above and beyond, and to this day, I am so grateful for his help. I broke my foot and was trying to limp my way across campus with crutches in the pouring rain. Someone ran over with their umbrella and walked across campus with me so I wouldn't get rained on. Alternator died while I was driving home from university. Engine died as I exited the freeway in the middle of the night in a not-so-pleasant part of town in the days before cell phones. As I'm pushing my car out of the intersection, a guy in a truck comes up and offers to push my car to my neighborhood a good 3 miles away. He does so, and I'm pulling into my neighborhood. He simply gives a wave and drives off into the night. I never even had a chance to thank him. Ones like this always get me a little more, where the person is very obviously just doing it to be a good person, so much so they don't even let you say thanks. I was in NYC taking a lunch break at a job I absolutely hated. I was sitting eating alone at a McDonald's, and after about 15 minutes, this man in his 40s or 50s, I'm a 28-year-old male at the time, goes up to me and says something like, "Hey man, you look really sad. Things will get better," and just shook my hand. Takes a lot for one adult man to offer that up to another strange man. Really cheered me up. The time my car broke down in the middle of the night and my phone died and I didn't know what to do. A random stranger pulled over and told me, "We all need a little help sometimes," and I'll never forget her words as she helped me jumpstart my car. Moved from a city to the country. I bought a large metal wine rack at a yard sale without thinking of how I would get it home. As I stood outside my car measuring, knowing damn well it wouldn't fit, an older man came up to me. He asked if I needed needed help getting it home and offered to follow me in Ha's truck. I thought, okay, I'm getting robbed, but it was only $40 and I couldn't get it home anyways. The older man followed me home and helped me bring it into the house. We talked for 5 minutes or so, and as he was about to leave, I asked him, I just have to ask, what made you do this today? The man extended his hand to shake mine and said, just doing my good deed for the day. I was floored. I'm never moving back to the city, and I see this sort of kindness all the time where I am. Your like and subscription will really help my channel.